Del Sol here, bringing you a 30-minute video. Let me start my watch because sometimes I go over. And I just want to bring you a video so you can do this at home, get some energy flowing, a little bit of grounding. And yeah, so we will go ahead and start. So come to a comfortable seated position. Bring your heart back over your sit bones and roll your shoulders up by your ears and then down along your back. Keep the spine long and erect towards the sky. You're going to bring your hands to prayer and bring your sternum up a little bit towards your thumbs so they touch slightly. And we're going to go ahead and close our eyes and start with our yogic breathing. So that's breathing in and out of the nose. So go ahead and start breathing. When you inhale, you want to breathe down into the belly. Exhale, emptying out completely. Keep breathing. You want to match your inhales and your exhales, breathing about 4 to 5 seconds in and 4 to 5 seconds out, again in and out of the nose to ground ourselves here today. And I'd like to invite you to go ahead and set an intention for your practice today. An intention is something you can bring more of into your life. So maybe we all have the same intention today. Maybe it's strength during this time. And always come back to the breath when the mind wanders. Come back to the intention. Just take this 30 minutes here for yourself today. Good. Let's go ahead and open up our eyes. Still sitting up tall, we're going to lead with the heart and fold forward. So take your fingers onto the ground, walk your hands out in front of you. And you're going to maybe come to the forearms or let the arms come as far down as they would like. And let the head be heavy and just take a couple of deep breaths here into the belly, keeping the sit bones plugged into the mat. One more. Good, and then walk your hands over to the right side, and maybe that left hand comes a little bit on top of that right hand or in front of the right hand. 2 breaths here. Expanding the left side body as we breathe. Good, and then walk your hands all the way over to the opposite side, the left side. Maybe that right hand comes a little bit on front of the left or on top as you breathe into the right side body. One more breath. Good. Walk your hands back towards center, then bring them back towards your body as we sit up. And we're going to switch the way we're sitting. So the other leg goes on top. It's probably the less comfortable way to sit. We're going to sit up tall, then lead with the heart as we fold forward, walking the fingertips out in front of you. Let the head be heavy. Keep the sits bones plugged into the mat behind you. 2 breaths here in center. Good. Walk your hands all the way over to the right side, and maybe that left hand comes a little bit on top of the right or in front. One more. Good, then walk your hands all the way over to the left side of the mat. And maybe that right hand comes a little bit on top or in front. One more breath. Good, bring your hands back to center. Walk them back towards your body. And we're going to come onto our knees for a moment. And I'm going to take my hair back here and tuck my shirt in. We're going to come onto our feet and bring your knees together. And maybe you can hug around your knees if you're feeling balanced today, or maybe you keep your fingertips on the mat. But you're just going to fold forward over the legs. Let the head just rest and be heavy. Maybe you rock the chin from side to side. Maybe you hug the knees. Breathing into the back side body. Maybe you straighten out the spine a bit and then fold forward again. Just take a stretch for the back, whatever feels good. Walking your hands around a bit, playing here with the back body. Just breathing into the back, expanding the whole torso with breath. Good. Then we're going to come onto our hands and our knees. So your shoulders are right over your wrists, your hips are right over your knees here. We're going to drop our belly, tilt the tailbone up slightly, shine your heart through your arms as you inhale. Exhale, press the mat away from you, bring your chin to your chest for cat. Dropping the tailbone. Inhale, cow, drop the belly, heart shines forward, gazes up, tailbone lifted. Exhale, cat, press the mat away from you, chin to chest, curving that spine out. And take a couple more at your own pace here. Keep going. Maybe you shift your hips around in circles down to your heels. Wherever you feel some tightness, wherever you need to send some movement and some love, go ahead and just move around. Most importantly, move with your own breath and pay attention to just this practice, coming back to your breath when the mind wanders. Good. Sometimes I like to look back at my ankles, keeping my shoulders straight. You can try that. Beautiful. Then we're going to come into our first down dog. So you're going to spread your fingers really wide and press the pads right here of your index and your thumb into the mat and all of your knuckles into the mat. Hands are shoulder distance apart. Let's come into a down dog. So that's uncurling the toes, picking the hips up high, really pressing that mat away from you. So bringing your chest towards your thighs. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears, so really pressing into that mat, tilting the tailbone up to the sky. Head is heavy and gaze is towards the toes or maybe the knees. Let's shake our head out here, yes and no. Good, then walk your dog out, so that's bicycling the knees one by one. Keeping strong in the core here. In the abdominal area. So keeping your belly button towards your spine, being aware of the muscles we're using. Keep going, stretching the back side body here. Maybe shifting the hips from side to side, keeping strong in those fingers in the mat. Good. Back to down dog, feet are hip distance apart. We're going to shift into a plank, so you're going to use your stomach muscles To move you forward, your shoulders will come over your wrists. Your tailbone will drop a little bit to engage the core. If you need to come to your knees, you can. But let's take 2 breaths here. Neck is long, gazing out in front of you at the ground. 1 more breath. On an exhale, press back to a down dog. Good, then walk your feet up towards the top of the mat. Good, your feet are in between your hands. You're gonna bend your knees a lot here, so your chest is your torso's on the top of your legs here. Let's grab onto our elbows and just hang heavy in a rag doll. So keeping the knees bent, letting the head and neck relax, and just sway from side to side, staying grounded in the feet, decompressing the spine here a bit. Still breathing deeply in and out of the nose into the belly. Switch the grasp of the elbows, so just grab around the opposite way. Hang in the middle here, ground in all 4 corners of the feet, so the balls of the feet and the heels. And just let the head be heavy as we shake it out, yes and no. Good. Take your hands onto the mat so knees are bent. Take your hands on top of your feet and slide them up your legs. Maybe you stop at the shins, or maybe you come up to the thigh area and roll your shoulders back. We're just halfway lifting here, so shoulders are away from the ears. The core is engaged and the back is flat here. You can have a slight bend in the knees. Maybe your hands are on your thighs or the shins, or maybe on the mat. Take a couple breaths here. Maybe slightly pressing into the legs, straightening out the spine. Good, then you're gonna fold forward. So bend the knees again, slide the hands down the legs into the mat. Head is heavy. Good. You're going to roll up to standing, so press into your feet, rooting to rise. Head comes up last. Shoulders back, arms down by your side. You're going to slightly tuck the tailbone under here, chest lifted. Take a breath. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Stretch your arms up and back. We're going to bow down, hinging from the hips. You can slightly bend at the knees, bringing the hands down to the mat, to the outsides of the feet, dropping the head. Keeping knees bent, halfway lift, so stretch the spine out. Then you're going to bring the right leg back, and we're going to come into a low lunge. So the right knee and the right toes will come down. The left knee is right over the left ankle. Just hold this runner's lunge here for a moment, straightening out the spine and the neck, lengthening it. Breathing in and out of the belly. You're going to plant your right palm in the mat, and you're going to sweep the left arm up into the sky on an inhale. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Planting the left palm. We're going to shift back for a half split. So you're going to come onto your left heel, and your hip is right over your knee here in the back. Come onto the fingertips, straighten out the spine, then fold forward. You can walk the hands up a little bit. Just let the torso fold forward over that left leg. Keep your hips square. So maybe you bring that right hip up a little bit and the left hip back. Couple of deep breaths here. Giving yourself permission to just release tension. One more breath. Good. You're going to come back into the low lunge. So bend the left knee. Plant both palms in the mat. We're going to step back into a down dog. So engaging the core. Step that left leg back to down dog here. Press the fingers into the mat. Tilt the tailbone up to the sky. Shoulders away from the ears. Good. We're going to shift forward into a plank, using your core muscles to shift you forward, shoulders over wrist. Drop down to your knees. Your chest comes in between the hands. Keep the elbows squeezed in towards the body. Bring your chin down to the mat. Straighten your legs out behind you. All 10 toes in the mat here. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, lower your forehead down to the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Using our back muscles here. Keep flowing here a couple more times. All 10 toenails in the mat. Keep going. Moving with the breath. One more. Good. You're going to straighten your arms out. Come onto your knees here. Back to the down dog. One breath here. Engaging the core, you're going to look forward and try to get that right foot up in between the hands. Maybe you need to help it up. Drop down to the left knee, the left toes. Straighten out the spine and the neck. If you have blocks, this is a good spot to have blocks here for the runners. This is a runner's lunge, but we're coming down to a low lunge here. Just open up. Let the hips open. Plant the left hand into the mat. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. And exhale, lower. Planting the right palm down. We're going to shift back on to the right heel. Look out in front of you and then fold forward. You can walk the hands out a little bit. Let the head be heavy. Play around here a little bit and then just breathe into the opening behind the right leg. One more breath. Good. Back to the low lunge. So bending the right knee. You're going to step the left foot forward to meet the right and bow the head down, tilting the tailbone up. Good. You're going to look out with a flat spine. Bring the arms out. Engage the core. Sweep them all the way up. Excuse my A-frame ceiling here. Arms up by your ears. Hinge out of the hips. Hands come to prayer. Then arms come down by your side. You're going to take your hands onto your hips and step the left leg back. We're going to come into a warrior one. So that back foot is planted at a 45-degree angle. The front knee is going to bend over the ankle here in the front. So kind of straighten and play with that front knee a bit. Then ground that back foot. Bring the arms up by the ears, keeping the ribs plugged into the core here so they're not sticking out. Kind of tucking the tailbone under. Come into your warrior one. Good. We're going to take the hands down to the ground, framing the front of the mat. Step the right leg back and just come into a down dog. Pressing into the mat, shoulders away from the ears, tilt the tailbone up. Head is heavy. One breath here. Good. You're going to walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Bend in the knees and fold forward, emptying out. Look out with a flat spine. Bring your arms out and up, hinging back. Hands to prayer, arms by your side. Hands to your hips. Step the right foot back. Warrior one on this side. So plant that back foot at a 45-degree angle. Both of your heels are in alignment here. Bend into the front knee a couple of times. And once you have the foundation down and your core is engaged, you're going to bring your arms up by your ears. Keeping the sternum towards the front. Maybe you help it with your hands so you can feel where your body is. Strong in the legs. Take the hands down to the ground, keeping your core engaged. We're going to step back to a down dog. Good. You're going to bring your right leg up into the sky, spinning the inner thigh upwards towards the sky, toes pointing towards the mat here. Then you're going to step that foot all the way forward in between the hands. So use your core. Get the foot all the way up in between the hands. You're going to spin the back foot to match the back of the mat parallel. And we're in a heel to arch alignment here. Front heel, back arch. Spin your arms open to a warrior two. So we're opening to the side of the mat now. Your front knee is bent over the front ankle, shoulders back, away from the ears, like you're squeezing a pencil together behind your back, and your gaze is over your front middle finger. The front knee is tracking out towards the pinky toe, pressing into the outer edge of the back foot. Breathing. One more breath. You're going to bring the back arm down your back leg. Keep a bend in the front knee. The front arm comes up, fingertips towards the ground behind you, opening the side body here, lengthening. Then cartwheel your hands down to frame that front foot and step back into a down dog. Spreading those fingers wide, deep breathing into the belly. Inhale, bring the left leg up, toes pointing towards the mat, inner thigh lifted towards the sky, core engaged. Step that foot forward or help it up in between the hands. Spin the back foot parallel to match the back of the mat. Heel to arch alignment. You're going to cartwheel your arms open to the other side. Bend into the front knee. It's tracking towards the pinky toe, tucking the tailbone under. Arms out. Look over your front middle finger, shoulders back. Like you're spinning your inner thighs towards the sky. Building heat in the body here. Strengthening our immune system. This is a nice grounding position too for our root chakra. Bring the back arm down your back leg. The front arm comes up and over the ear, fingers towards the earth. Nice big side body stretch. Keep a bend in the front knee. Cartwheel the hands down to frame the front foot. Step back into a down dog. Let me see how much time we have left. Couple breaths here. Heels relaxed towards the earth. Tailbone lifts, pressing the mat away from you. Good. We're going to come down onto our knees. Our hips are right over our knees. Our shoulders are right over our wrists. You're going to take your right arm out in front of you, and your left leg will be out behind you, toes pointing towards the mat. The leg's not too high, not too low, just so you feel it plugged in, the core plugging in. Breathe here. Try to keep that left shoulder over the left wrist. Focus on the breath. Come back to the breath. Come back to the intention. Belly button to spine. Neck is long, gazing out in front of you. One more breath. Good. Lower down the hand and the knee. Bring the left arm out in front of you. Right leg behind you. Toes pointing towards the ground. Right shoulder over the right wrist. Stay grounded. Stay here with us. One more breath. Good. Hand comes down to the mat. The knee comes down. Cross the ankles over each other. Sit back on your bottom, and we're going to lay down long on the mat. And we're just going to open the heart and the back before we come into our last pose. So take your feet onto the mat. Your feet are hip distance apart. Your ankles, you'll be able to kind of graze them with your fingertips. Arms down by your side. And then on an inhale, press into the feet. Bring the hips up high. Tuck the shoulder blades in underneath you for a bridge. So you really want to kind of tighten the glutes, bringing the hips open. The heart is open. And you can interlace your hands together if that's okay. And maybe you bring your chin away from your chest a bit. 3 breaths here. You've got it. Open that heart. Send oxygen through the body. One more breath. Remove the hands from behind the back. Slowly roll from the top of your spine. Come all the way down to the tailbone here. We're going to hug our knees into our chest and just rock from side to side. Filling the torso, the back body, the front body with air. Massaging the lower back here. Then let's take a happy baby. So you're going to grab the outsides or the insides of your feet. So you can grab either way. Your knees will be aiming to come under the armpits. And just breathe here. 5 breaths. Trying to send the tailbone close to the mat. Head is on the mat. Sometimes we rock in happy baby. Let's just hold here for a couple more breaths. With all of us sending out strength. Hopefully you feel some of it today in your energetic body. I'm sending you guys love and strength from my little A-frame. Pull down on the feet, let the hips open. Good. We're going to take our feet onto the mat here, keeping the knees bent. You're going to take the right ankle, cross it over the left knee, interlace the fingers and grab behind the left thigh, keeping both feet flexed, tailbone in the mat. 2 breaths here, pulling behind the thigh, opening up the hip. One more breath. Good. Switching the legs out. So this left ankle comes on top of the right knee. Grab behind the thigh. Hug it in. One more breath. Good. And then the hardest pose, final Shavasana. You're going to let your legs splay out to the front corners of your mat. Bring your arms out by your side. Tuck your shoulder blades in underneath you and take as long as you need here, closing the eyes and trying not to attach to any thoughts. You want to see your thoughts like tiny little bubbles floating on by. So, of course, you can be the observer. Notice what arises in your thoughts, but just let the bubbles keep on floating by. So just breathe and let go. If this video cuts off, take as long as you need.